Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you another Monster Legends Guides, where we talk about monsters' moves, their partners, the rune sets, all that jazz. Today we are looking at H20 Delirious, who is a popular YouTuber. He's part of Vanos's group, and he is one of the upcoming YouTubers to be coming out, of course. Uh, as of recording this video, I don't know when his event's coming out. You can actually breed this guy. I'm gonna say it right up. He's gonna be breedable. He's gonna be free. Obviously, if you got the right material for it, and you get lucky with it and stuff like that. Or unless you have like a bunch of gems and you just breed a bunch of them, which I might actually do. uh, because I will say before this video starts, this guy you need to rank this guy up. This guy needs to be ranked up at least to like 110 at the very least, to make him really usable, in order for him to compete with the other stuff. Because his trade is really bad. I will say that his trade is horrible. If you can get this guy to 115, congratulations to you, which are really acceptable stats. I mean, like, his speed is alright. In fact, he's faster than Varuna. He's faster than Thedes. Uh, just really great. I think he's tied with Frostbite. And like Frostbite, sadly, he has a horrible trait in Daze. He's immune to Daze, and I don't know why. I don't know why he's immune to Daze. I don't know what possessed them to do this. This isn't a good trait. I actually thought he'd get hardened. He didn't. But yeah, we're gonna talk about, or I'm gonna say why he's worth it. I'm gonna say why he's worth ranking him up at least twice, or worth the gems to do so. Um, all right, so I will say that he does need, again, he does need to be ranked up a few times. He's like Plymouth. If you ever watched my Plymouth video, yeah, that video got 30 minutes long. I know that was a really long explanation, but he does need the rank up. He does need it so he can compete with the other stuff. Especially, like, people walk around with Thedes all the time, and this guy is faster. If you have level 9 speed runes, if you put him on this guy at level 115, I guarantee you, like, he's going to be faster than the Thedes, which is just so common. You do want to put your highest runes on this guy. If you're going to use him as a full-on denier, this guy can be either a full-on denier or he can be a secondary denier. Alright. So looking at power, his power is 3,003. This power is pretty atrocious. I'm not gonna lie. This power is really bad. It's okay because his main role isn't really to do damage. It's more so just to do AoE freeze and just a bunch of single target effects with really low cooldowns. That's what I really like about him. His life is 27,747. This is okay life. It's not bad. It could be better. It's not. Uh, his speed is 3,432. This speed is workable. I will say if you rank him up a few times, it's workable. He is slower than things like Kalik. I think he's slower than Cavenfish, or maybe just a slightly faster. I don't remember. Uh, if so, then he does have problems dealing with those kind of deny monsters. What again? But then again, what water monsters don't have problems dealing with Kalik and Cavenfish. There are quite a few water monsters that have problem with those guys. They're just, again, because they're immune to freeze. And like I said, with every time I mention this, freeze is the best immunity in the game because everybody freezes, everybody uses it. Every team comp has a freeze, at least one. Not I guess not every team comp, but most of them do. Most people run Thedes, and she has a freeze. Freeze is very valuable. Freeze is a valuable trait, and that's why that's what most of the people in the wikis wants it to be. People want this thing to be immune to freeze or stun. Mostly freeze because freeze is so common. So this thing itself can actually be denied, which isn't too great. He's kind of like on the boat with Varuna in terms of like against the other water monsters. Like he can be frozen, so he does join Varuna on that boat. Sadly, I will also say actually he is actually better than Varuna. And there's a reason why in this video. But I want to tell you why it's really worth it to rank this guy up. It's because of his ultimate. His ultimate is really great. This is Delirious Army. This deals very heavy special damage to all enemies, may stun and freeze all targets. This is a very good deny skill. This is very good. If it's immune to freeze, it's not immune to stun. If it's immune to stun, it's not immune to freeze. This is a really great ult. It's a great restrain ult. This is why he's worth ranking up. This is a really good ult. Granted, again, you're probably like, oh, what? I probably won't even get this. It's like but if you get this chance, odds are you'll win the game already. This is a really powerful deny. This is a really good ultimate. This is why he's worth it. I don't think there's really anything worth mentioning in skill groups 1. there really isn't anything worth mentioning. H2O scrap. This deals heavy special damage, requires cooldown. Normally I recommend you run a 0 turn cooldown move, but this thing doesn't do any damage. It's just really low. It might do damage at 115. Let's see how much it actually does. It's usable. So I would say if you're running 115 Delirious, this is an optional move. Say 110. 110 is pretty more realistic. No, yeah, it's either 115 or don't bother with it. Is my thing. Since we're on 110 stats, this is his speed. This is his speed 410. This is an acceptable speed. It's 3,744. It's a pretty good base speed, and his life becomes pretty decent. This is a really decent life for, again, like deniers. It's a pretty alright life and stuff like that. But you do want it to be 115. If you can get this to 115, please get it. Yeah, totally do that. It will totally be worth it. His ultimate is just really great. Especially if you're running like full level 9 speedruns on this thing, or that level 9 speedruns, if you just take the time to think about it, are just like the best speedruns they can have on it. Obviously, they're not like level 10 speedruns, but if you look at a level 10 speedrun compared to a level 9 run, the difference is literally a point off. If you, let's say this guy has like 3 level 10s, and this guy has like 3 level 9s, he's only off by 3%. That's all he's ever off by is 3%. So if you had like a team speedrun, you can break the percentage off. Again, that depends on your own setup, but yeah, that's literally, if you have 3 level 9 speedruns, you're gonna move pretty fast with this thing. And this guy does need to be faster than his like enemy denier and stuff like that. He can single target stun and stuff like that. So this move isn't all that great, unless you're in, again, 115. Don't use this move if you're not 115. It's just not a move worth using if you're thinking about it. Just don't do it. Silly Splashes. This deals low water damage to all enemies, may daze targets, requires cooldown. I actually wouldn't recommend you run the skill. It's just not worth running. I know it's like a deny skill. It's a 4-turn cooldown, man. It's not worth it. Odds are, like with attackers too, if you like, sometimes most attackers actually have an AoE daze, so I actually wouldn't recommend you run it. There's too many like attackers people use that actually have an AoE daze. I mean, if you don't have a whole lot of AoE dazers, you can run this skill. It's just on a 4-turn cooldown, and I don't think it's really healthy for him. So you may run this skill. I'm not saying it's not something you can't run. It's something you may run, but I don't think it's the optimal choice. Shush Up. This deals heavy water damage, applies Stamina Leak, requires cooldown. This is a pretty alright move. You can run it. It's totally runnable. And in fact, it rotates really well, and stuff like that. H2O Lacquertation. This is a 55 damage special move. It's on a 1-turn cooldown. This takes 50% stamina away. This is a really nice deny skill. I use like Nidarnia, who does like 50%, and it has a 0-turn cooldown. That's really nice. I think the only problem is, though, it doesn't take 70. I think it's because it needs the 75% to actually make it worth using. Because you can't fully deny a water monster with this. You can take half their stamina away, but you can't deny it with it. So I will say, that, like, if you have like a stamina leaker, this would work very well in conjunction with this move. Though it would work pretty well. Psycho Splashes. This deals low water damage to all enemies. This may freeze all targets. Run this move. This is the deny you need to run. So you do need to run this move. Stunning Wave. This deals heavy water damage. May stun target. Requires cooldown. This is a really great move. Run this move, please. Please run this move. This is pretty much why he's better than Varna. It's not in terms of damage output. It's the fact that it's only a 1-turn cooldown. You need to realize this is a 1-turn cooldown move. It's not a 4-turn cooldown. It's a 1-turn cooldown. People like using Varna because he also stuns too, which is good for dealing with, again, water monsters and stuff like that. This thing can do it too, and it's on a better cooldown. Instead of waiting 4 turns to use it again, you're just waiting 1. So you can cycle between. This is the setup I'm gonna have you. I would suggest straight away. You can run you run Psycho Splashes, you run Stunning Wave, you run H2O Laceration, uh, and you can't run Shush Up for like the stamina leak. But I think you can have the choice. I guess you do have the choice between Splashes and Shush Up. You do have the choice between the two. Whatever you may choose, this might save you from. I will say this might save you from a denier. I'm not saying it will 100% will. This might have you save you. Just to keep in mind, your 2 deny skills run on a 4-turn cooldown, and they actually do cost quite a bit of stamina. So keep that in mind. Do keep that in mind. It does cost a bit of stamina, but then again, these two cost. I will say like his moves do cost kind of a lot of stamina. Now just looking at them, they just cost a lot. I really don't know why this needs to be on a 4-turn cooldown. I have no idea the justification for it. But then again, if you're running on again a lot of speed, I don't even think the cooldown matters. So I guess this move would actually be better than Shush Up. Just because you're doing more so deny. So yeah, okay. So this is the definite set. I would have you run Psycho Splashes. I have you run Stunning Waves. I have you run H2O Laceration, and I have you run Silly Splashes. This is I will say this is the definite setup. This is probably the setup most people would use, or maybe people would run, the Stamina Lake and stuff like that. But I think people would run Silly Splashes at that point, just to make sure nobody, to lower damage dealt and stuff like that, and accuracy. I think people would run that. Rune sets full speed, or you can do full speed, or you can do a speed and 2 life. 2 speeds and a life. This guy doesn't really do any damage. You could do the extra if you wanted to. You could do the extra guy set if you wanted to do it for fun. His single damage is actually all right to use. And for partners, the usual setup damage. And a buffer, or two attackers or anything like that. Maybe another denier too if you wanted. It's totally up to you. It's totally how you want to set it up. I think Incognita would come into play really nicely with this guy. Get Incognita in on it. You get the AoE double damage buff. And you can do more damage with your H2O Laceration or something like that. To do more damage to the water monster. And all that jazz. I think that's a good setup. I think I would say that's a good setup. And I think with the attacker, it could be you could actually do if you. It depends on what the enemy, the enemy's running and stuff like that. You could probably run, Plymouth. I think Plymouth might work well with this guy. Especially with the increased health and stuff like that. You get the regeneration back, and all that jazz. Or, another healer or something like that. Or something immune to freeze. I will say you probably want something immune to freeze, so maybe a Tony, a Carney, or a Strange Enough, I might, maybe Reptile? Question mark? Probably not. Nah. It wouldn't work too well. Just something that's I would say maybe Oxtech, maybe. Or just something with Harden. I will say something with Harden. That's something you might want to do. Maybe Vanos himself. I don't know. Live your YouTuber dream, and stuff like that. YouTube fantasy team. But yeah, that's all I have to say about H2O. Do get this guy ranked. If you do plan on getting this guy, try and get him ranked up as much as you can, or get a few of them. Do try to get more than one. If you can't get more than one, that's all right. And odds are, if you already have a denier and stuff like that, you probably don't even need this guy. You probably don't need him, but it's a guy for fun. He's a pretty cool monster. I'm gonna get a few monsters of him myself and all that jazz. I already have Vanu who's sitting in the hatchery. I am getting ready for this event. I hope I do get a lot of. I'm hoping to get enough to get him for 115. That's what I want him to be at. It's just really good stats. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. I'm Did the Awesome. I'll catch you guys later.